Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me, Steve? I got something in my mouth. Got a minute. My name is Marshall, person in long-term recovery. Yeah, it's good to be here. If y'all don't know it, I'm excited. You know, I did my homework. I got about 5 things that I like to just throw out there. You know what I mean? 5 things. As usual, we always cut it down to about 2 or 3. A lot of times we don't have time for the 5. You know, but one of the things that I want to throw out there is beliefs. My beliefs. What is it that I believe? And I throw this out there because this comes from me doing my homework. I read somewhere a couple of days ago that the average individual have how many thoughts run through their head during the course of a day? How many thoughts? Just take a guess. Thousands. She owned the money. You know, she owned the money. Now, takes me back because I can remember a time when I only believed shit that I thought of. That's all. That's what I went on. If I ain't think of it, I didn't believe it. I won't go on with it. I won't go run with it. I felt the same way when I came in. The guy was just telling me, we was talking over here before y'all got here, 12 steps. You know, when I got here, I was like, no, man, it's some 12 steps is good, but it's some stuff about that they need to change. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm thinking, man. I'm thinking, you know, they need to change some stuff about the 12 steps. You know what I'm saying? I heard this thing, man, the 12 steps, they said, when you start using, you stop growing. I'm like, bullshit. You know? Why? Because I ain't know no better. I ain't know no better. As I continued to stay around here, I changed my thinking because they were right. I ain't gonna say you just become a dud, but every time you come to jail, your life experiences disappear. So what you doing? You functioning, you navigating off of old information. One of the things I read today is, man, look, let's have some foresight into the future rather than always relying on the past. If I ain't got nothing but the past, that's where I'm going. I'm going right to the past. You know what I'm saying? And so we trying to change that. We trying to change that. This is what this thing is all about, man. This is what this thing is about change. One way we can change to keep from living in the past is to learn how to process our feelings. You know, I'm like, yo, do y'all have those feeling charts in there? Yeah, study that thing. Read it, study it. That's the only way I learn about my feelings, you know? Because, I mean, I didn't know. The only feeling that I really could identify when I first got here was anger. You know what I'm saying? Was anger. You know? When they started talking about, okay, somebody help me out here. Throw out some feelings. Bored. Yeah, throw out some feelings. Excited. Confused, frustration, disappointment, depression. You know, we're throwing out some feelings. And why I say it's important that we learn how to process those, nobody told you this, but as you continue to grow and stay clean, those same feelings that you experienced early on in recovery probably going to pop up again. Circumstances just probably be different. Situations will probably be different, but they're going to pop up. You know, you see somebody in recovery and you think for a minute that they don't get angry again. Think again. You know what I'm saying? Think again. They do get angry, but we process it differently. you know, process it differently. And that's when we grow, man. That's when we grow. I'm telling you, we can grow from good things in our life, and we can grow from adversity in our life. You know, we can grow from both ends of it, you know. And I mean, today, I find myself growing, man, pie in the sky. Certain place I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get to peace, tranquility, you know what I'm saying? Less worration, you know? That's where I'm trying to get, right? And I'm growing there. That's what I'm growing. And y'all know, man, I'm 72 years old. Man, I'm so grateful that I got a program, man, that allowed me to do that. You know? I mean, like, when we talk about feelings, like, you know, anger, I always talk about people driving. When I'm driving today, somebody cut me off. I'm coming here, somebody cut me off. Yeah, I started laughing. You know what I'm saying? I started laughing. Man, I ain't gonna let nobody pull me out my square because of the way they drive, you know? I never forget, this was 30 years ago. Brother was riding, and they came down from Baltimore to a convention or something. I'm like, dude, how was your ride? He said, man, my wife was driving, and I'm telling you, I ain't gonna ride with her no more. I was like, why? He said, because she one of these drivers that can't stand to see a car in front of her. You know what I'm saying? You know, when I heard that, I chuckle about it. But you know what? As time go on, I understand exactly what he was saying. I like, he right. I see people out there, man, they'll run you down, then get in front of you and slow down. They just wanted to catch you. You know what I'm saying? You know, they just wanted to catch you, you know? So, I mean, that's something that I got, man, from being in recovery. You know what I'm saying? From being in recovery, that's something I got. You know what I mean? So I learned to believe some of this stuff, man, that I read on a regular basis. And I'll ask anybody, you know, where your source of information comes from? You know, where your source of information coming from? You got to have a source of information. Otherwise, man, you in the past. You pull enough information in the past. You know what I'm saying? Where it comes from. Because I'm telling you now, if you got any family members, I mean, young kids, 15, 16, 17 years old, you know what I'm saying? When you get out, boy, they talk to them. Talk to them. They're going to bring you up to date about what's going on. They say old timers are the only one that use a telephone as a telephone. I mean, young folks using the phone as the TV, as a computer, you know what I'm saying? And as a phone, as a notebook. They use it for some everything, you know? Number of people that leave home, man, if they left that phone, I'm going to be late going back to get that. You know what I mean? Got certain places we put them at and all that. I was walking around in here, and I hit my pocket. I was like, where the hell my phone at? You know what I'm saying? Phone in the car. You know what I'm saying? I said, oh, I left it in the car, you know? But that's how it is, man. That thing attached to you like crazy. Now, y'all know, too, it's like now we doing AI, you know, artificial intelligence. You can go to AI. I got a men's group. I'm a part of a men's group, you know, and put anything in there. Man, my little 16-year-old daughter and my granddaughter and my grandson, you know, thank you notes, thank you speeches, thank you letters. All of that is on AI. You know what I'm saying? They caught one of these basketball players that, I don't know what he did, the guy that got caught with the gun and all that. He wrote an apology. People that knew what it was all about, I had no idea. Read it and said, oh, that came off of AI. You know what I'm saying? You know, and then I went to AI, put the same thing in, and it was, I mean, it won't word for word, but it was damn near the same thing, you know? Man, this piece where when you run in a race, and you fall behind, you got to run twice as fast to catch up, you know? What is all of this for? What is all of this for? Because the premise behind all of this is we can get better. We can get better. Physically, spiritually, mentally, we can get better. I don't know what source that you navigate out of, but I'll say this, man, learn to grow spiritually. You know what I'm saying? Learn to go spiritually, man. The physical, you know what I mean, it give you one thing. The spiritual going to give you something totally different, and delve into it, man, and see what it's all about. Research it, see what it's all about, You'll be amazed at it. I'll say this, I was amazed at it, And why? Because when we come to jail, man, when we get incarcerated, I mean, man, I just think about somebody that's been incarcerated for 10 years, and talk about what their life experiences are, Man, I was incarcerated for 6 years. And I'm telling you, some people say life is about moments and all of that, I was in there for 6 years, man. And it's like some of that stuff is a blank. Some of it is a blank, You don't remember what you were doing and all of that because every day is the same except for the weekends. If there ain't nothing happened on the weekend, it was the same. You know what I'm saying? What we say, a whole lot of people say they use, man, because it's boring. Get one of them numbers. Get one of them big numbers. Me and Greg were just talking, man. He was at Stanton, and they were doing a program up there. And he was like, man, they had some dudes in the program at Stanton been locked up 35, 40 years, man. 35, 40 years, man. Institutionalized. And you heard people talking about it, man. When they get out, man, they can't adjust. They can't make it. Part of this thing too, man, is, man, this body that we got, man. I be reading, man. This body that we got, man. You know what I'm saying? Man, this mind that we got, man. Mind is a terrible thing to waste, man. We can adjust to anything. We can adjust to coming in and out of the jail. We can adjust to that. Don't get it twisted. You can adjust to being clean. You can adjust to not putting that shit in your body. You know what I'm saying? But when you get caught up, man, it's hard to step off, man, without some help. Your body, your mind, your spirit can adjust to all of that. Man, the last thing I'm going to say before we start introducing some people, they said, in my reading, man, this universe that we live this universe that we live in is here to support you. Is here to help you. You know what I'm saying? Why the trees are there? Man, 90 degrees outside. We need some shade. You know what I'm saying? I need apples. I need grapes. What you got people doing nowadays is, man, growing gardens. They are growing their food. You know what I'm saying? Man, the earth is here to support you. And some of the people that's in it, we're here to support you. That's what I'm saying, man. Your beliefs, your thinking, you know what I'm saying? It ain't going to hurt you to change that. Give it a try. It ain't going to hurt you. I mean, man, a whole lot of things about this thing, man. Just like, no, hey, man, I don't need no new friends. I got enough friends. I got enough people stabbing me in my back. You know what I'm saying? I don't need nobody that's going to be true to me. I don't need nobody that's going to be honest to me. You know what I'm saying? Let me get stabbed in my back. Again, you done heard me say this before. When you talk to some people and it was like, oh, I'm all right. Leaking oil behind them. I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? Dudes, your oil leaking. You know what I'm saying? Just like the cars need maintenance, body needs maintenance, the mind needs maintenance, everything needs maintenance. You know what I'm saying? Getting there is one thing. Maintaining it and keeping it is something totally different. You know what I mean? I'm a 12-stepper. What I love about 12 steps is that you get a chance to revisit you. You get a chance to revisit. Because for knuckleheads that have been in and out this thing 5 times, you need it. You need to revisit you. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no just, man, like one size fit all kind of thing. I can do it one time, then I'm good. No, you need that shit, man. When I'm thinking, as I'm talking to y'all, and I'm telling you, man, about how this thing right here can adjust. You know, man, I done had surgery and all of that. Boy, thank God for a program. Because otherwise, I'd be thinking this. I'm getting ready to die. You know what I'm saying? I played golf last week. Me and John played golf together last week. You know, and in my mind, I'm thinking like, man, I'll never be able to play golf again. These people done cut me like a hog. I'll never be able to play golf again. You know, and man, that was just me thinking. You know, like they say sometimes, man. And I don't know if they get into detail, but your best thinking is what got you here. Your best thinking ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, you need some new thinking. You know what I'm saying? You know, because of those thousands of thoughts that we had today, some of that shit, man, you need to discard it. It ain't working. You need to discard it. Get you some more thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Try to get you wherever you're trying to go to. You know? And it ain't gonna hurt that, man. Because what me and Greg said as well is like, man, these people will throw the key away on you. Make it seem like that anyway. You throw the key away. You know, all kind of thoughts and stuff that you done had about how they should be running this jail. They don't want to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? They do not want to hear it, you know? And I say it all the time, man. If you're looking for some sympathy, you'll come to the wrong place, you know? Because you ain't going to get it here, you know? You might get it on one level, but you ain't going to get it on all levels, you know? What we did today, man, I done talked enough. We got a couple of new folks, man, that's coming for the ride. And that's what we do. I got Stephen. Yeah, Stephen and these first timers, you know, new and I mean, I don't know their story, but anyway, they get to come here, man, and have an opportunity to practice sharing their stuff, you know, and that's what it is, practice. Come on up, Stephen. Hey, Stephen, pay attention.
How y'all doing?
All right.
All right. First time up here, so I'm a little nervous. My name is Stephen. I'm 56 years old, and I'm a person in recovery. Out of that 56 years, 26 years of that I spent on the street. So y'all do the math. I've been in the penitentiary 7 times. Why? Because I couldn't get it right. I didn't want to get it right. I was a needle junkie. You know, I put everything in a needle I could possibly put in it, and some things I couldn't. You know. And until 7 months ago, I didn't care nothing about recovery until I went to McShin. You know, everybody kept saying, you know, you need to just stop and get out of your own way and listen for a minute. You know, that was always my problem. I always thought I had the answers to everything. You know, and then when I went to the penitentiary for the last time, when I was in the jail, I had enough. You know, the people that I hurt, my family didn't want to have nothing to do with me. You know, I couldn't even get the people that I dealt drugs to and associated with on that level, didn't even want to have nothing to do with me. You know? So for the last 7 months, I've been doing it completely different. You know? And what's so amazing about this is if you can just slow down long enough and listen to other people's suggestions, I'm telling you, I'm an example right now. It does work. You know, the doors that have been open for me in the last 7 months, I'd have never even dreamt of happening. You know, I'm getting my license back. My mother and my sister talk to me now. You know, actually want me in their life. You know, instead of me trying to tell them that I'm doing this, so give me a chance. No, I'm not telling them a damn thing. I'm just doing it and letting them see it. You know, and for you sitting in these chairs right now, that means that y'all got another chance. You know, me personally, I believe in you. And there's a lot of other people believe in you. You need to stand on your feet now and believe in yourself. You know, this ain't the life anymore. You know, I started doing this back in '85. You know, penitentiary was a lot different then. A lot different. For anybody that knows, they know. If you don't, I hope to hell you never know. But you take suggestions, you know, listen to what's inside you right now. Because if you didn't care, you wouldn't be sitting in these seats right now. You know, but do what you got to do and get out of here and try something different. You know, first and foremost, forgive yourself and make yourself proud. And by doing that, you'll make everybody else proud. You know, you'll see that people will start coming back into your life that you thought would never do that for. That amazes me every single day. You know, and the opportunities keep presenting themselves. You know, I'm getting my license. I had my license one time in my life. I was 32 when I had them. I kept them for 5.5 months. I'm gonna get my license back. A lot of people, they take advantage of, okay, yeah, I got my license, no big deal. To me, that's a milestone. You know? So y'all just keep your head up, man. Do everything y'all need to do. Get the hell out of here. Don't ever come back. You know what I mean? There's people out there that do care. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Man, I love to hear that. I love to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Man, I'd shoot everything that could get in a needle. You know what I'm saying? You know? Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Because that's my story. That's part of my story. All right? Yeah, anything that can get in me. You know what I'm saying? Man, and you know, we go through this thing, man. I ain't even getting high no more. You know, they was like, well, what is it you're doing now? Oh, I like chasing. You know what I'm saying? To get some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do, man. That's how upside down we be. You know what I'm saying? Man, I don't know. Was that dope that they gave us? You know what I'm saying? I don't know what that shit was. You know what I'm saying? You know? But it's crazy. It's crazy. Come on up, Greg. This is my co-worker. Love you, man. Me and Greg go back. He said 1985. Me and Greg go back 1985.
1985. You know, I always like to, when I catch up with Marshall, we always got a story to tell about when we were incarcerated. Of course, Marshall was down at Spring Street. I was down at the city jail, 1985. Not much difference. But anyway, I like to tell the story that the TV, you know, they told me don't do no gambling, don't mess with that TV, don't mess with no homosexuals and all that stuff. Somebody told me he had already done 14 years that I knew in Lewisburg. They said, that's what you don't do. I said, well, I ain't worried about it. I ain't doing none of that. But anyway, every Saturday, you can't make this stuff up. You know, sports ruled the television. On Saturday, Soul Train would come on at 1 o'clock. Soul Train would come on again at 11:30. And the guys would be up there like they ain't seen it before. They sit there watching it in the afternoon and say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And them gyrating. I said, man, you're in the damn jail. And I thought I was crazy. But that was funny. I mean, it was entertaining. So anyway, this dude came in one day. And you could kind of hear the rumblings. They could kind of hear the rumblings. That's a bad motherfucker right there. Nobody messed with him. Nobody messed with him. Right. And so anyway, somebody went up there and messed with the TV. Besides KK. Well, it was besides KK. It was a KK bad dude too there. I walked there with tears in my eyes that night. I shared that story about KK. He told me, yeah. But this dude's old school dude. So he sat there. He went up there and put the TV on Gunsmoke. And I'm sitting in the back, and I went, is that Gunsmoke? So I get my chair. I pull on over. I'm in the back. I'm watching Gunsmoke. All of a sudden, this young dude goes up there, and he switches the TV back over. Right? And the old school dude got up, and you could hear people saying, oh, Lord, watch it. So anyway, he put it back on the sports, and the old school guy went up, and he grabbed that guy, hit him about 4 or 5 times, got him on the ground. He was trying to get up, and he stomped him, stomped his head into the floor. He was bleeding profusely, and just laying there. The old school dude went back and just sat down and started watching Gunsmoke. I'm in the back. I'm watching Gunsmoke too, right? And I went, "Oh Lord!" That's crazy stuff. But anyway, I always bring up a story because I don't ever want to forget. I'm always reflecting. I'm always talking about. And you brought up KK. I always have a place in my heart for that dude, man. Always. But I remember playing cards with guys like Monk Jim and Red Dog and Rocky Squirrel and all those guys down there. And we played cards. And when I went into jail, I weighed 285. And I remember one night praying. This is the one time I've ever had a spiritual awakening. I prayed that God would take my appetite from me and help me to get back on track. When I left, 5.5 years later, I weighed 190 pounds, doing 1,1700 push-ups a day. The pop and lock kind, not the kind where you just go down and barely. But I'm so thankful for all of that. And what I'd like to really talk about is today that really applies to me, something I think about all the time, is I have to ask for help. It's always been difficult for me to ask for help because in my house, you didn't show weakness, you didn't show emotion, and you certainly didn't ask for any help because asking for help and showing any signs was a sign of weakness. And sometimes here I come to a program where my life is at the bottom and my life sucks, and I don't want to ask anybody for help. And I don't tell on myself. I tell on myself today. When I'm going through tough times, I have to share with people and let them know. Because we're not mind readers. I sit in a lot of meetings and I listen to a lot of people, and we don't know what's going on with people if they don't tell us. And they don't know what's going on with me if I don't tell them. Listen, just because I've been around this thing for a while don't mean nothing, because all I have really is today. I have 24 hours. I get on my knees each morning and I pray. And I get off my knees and I go do something about it. That's how I stay sober. I connect with other alcoholics. All my friends I have are in recovery. I got a couple of friends outside the program, but I don't see them as often anymore because we live different lifestyles. But my disease is still waiting on me to not show up here to jail. You don't need to go down to the jail tonight. You don't need to go to that meeting. You don't need to do this or you don't need to do that. Then all of a sudden I'm thinking inside my head that I can go and get another drink. Go and get another high one time. That's why I stay so close to the program, and I have to be in the program, doing everything that you guys suggest to me. Because if I don't, I'm going to be in trouble. And I'm so thankful. The other night, real quick, I'll wrap it up with this. Went down to Dogwood Dale. My car, a couple of times, had a hard time turning over. I I need a new battery. I told my wife, I said, I'll get a new battery on Monday. This was Saturday. So we go down to the Caroline, 2,000 people down there in the park, and we had a good time. We leave at 10 o'clock, car dead. Battery's dead. And I went, I ain't gonna say what I said. But anyway, I pulled out my wallet, called AAA, and I said, how's AAA gonna know where I am? Because there's probably 500 cars down there. But anyway, they said it's going to be about 2 hours. And I went, shit, man, 2 hours. And I'm kicking myself in the ass because I didn't listen to my wife say, go get that battery. Because I got all the sense. And she's got a brand new car. She said, let's take my car. We just got her a brand new Kia Sportage, all the bells and whistles. Let's take my car. No, because I want to be in control driving. And I don't want anybody telling me what to do. Let's take my car. But anyway, 10 minutes later, my phone rings. It's the guy with AAA. He says, I'm down here at the Caroline. I'm here at the tower. Where are you? And I look over and I see these lights flashing. And I said, is that you in the truck with the lights flashing? I said, stay right there. My wife will be right there. So she goes over, hops in the truck, and they come over. And we finally get out of there, $230 later, put a new battery in. But I'm so thankful. First of all, if I had been drinking or been high, no telling what would have happened. That man may have had an obligation to tell somebody that he had smelled alcohol on me if I was drinking. Let the police know. I pull over there and I'm in trouble. I'm so thankful and grateful for this program. I'm thankful that God saw fit to give me another opportunity, 4th time in this program. And I finally surrendered to the fact that I can't drink safely. And every time I drink against my will. And I become a slave to alcohol and drugs. I don't have to live like that anymore. One day at a time. And I emphasize that wholeheartedly. I only have today. I ran across a man recently, had 53 years in the program, and somebody asked him, he said, what's his face? How many years you got? He said, I got today. That's all he said, I got today. You talk about being humble. I'm so glad to be here. I'm so glad to see your faces. I look forward to seeing you guys, and it's a privilege and an honor that I think God has bestowed upon me to keep me alive, to show other people that, hey, we do recover, and we can recover. And thank you for letting me be here tonight.
Thank you. Hey, I'm Marshall. I'm still a person in long-term recovery. Get Lauren to come up. I just wanted to say this, that when we were talking about feelings earlier, Stephen, he said this was his first time ever speaking in front of a group. Lauren, this is her first time speaking in front of a group. And one of the feeling words that we came up with was uncomfortable. And what they said here is, you got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable sometimes, And I mean, for her and Stephen, that takes a lot of courage. And it's almost like Greg was saying about asking for some help, So those are the things, man, that keep us going, get us going, And I applaud them for you. Come on up, Lauren.
Sorry, I'm super. All right. So I'm Lauren. I'm a person in recovery. And I say that because I'm recovering from not just substance abuse, but extremely violent domestic relationships. I have survived 28 overdoses. I have been to 5 other rehabs, a lot of family trauma. And a lot of self-destructive patterns. I had a really good life growing up. I was a gymnast for 16 years, loving family. And everybody would always say well, just stop. Don't you love your kids enough? And it's not that we don't love our children. And it starts with not loving yourself. I started using at 14 years old because I had no idea what drugs were. My mom never communicated with me. And like I said, I didn't have a terrible childhood. So after 5 rehabs, this is my 6th. And I will tell you that McShin is probably one of the best programs I've ever been in, because they will do whatever they can for you to see you succeed. And especially if you have kids and you want to progress with, maybe CPS got involved like me. they will support you in that, and they have resources like you wouldn't imagine. I don't know about any of y'all, but I was a parent in active addiction. And I look back and it's like, some of the situations I put my kids in, I thought was okay. Um,
Love you, Lauren.
sorry. Sorry. And I'm learning now that I caused a lot of trauma. Like to the point where I have to put them in like therapy. And these sick ways of thinking that I had, that I thought I was being a good parent, or, you know, nodding out in front of my son, and, you know, it's not okay. And it took rehab number 6 to realize that. So what I'm trying to get at is that you're all still here for a reason. I'm still here for a reason. If you've ever been in those situations and you've came out alive, take this seriously if you really want it. All the other times I was in rehab, my family forced me to go. I wasn't ready. I wanted to want to be sober. Like I really wanted. I looked at people who were recovering and it was like, I wish I felt like that, because I wasn't done with my run yet. I was always chasing that last one and fighting anybody who stopped me from getting the last one, and then go to rehab and the same sick cycle over again. I didn't start getting in trouble until like 6 months ago, and it was only a matter of time before I became a felon. And like, I want to be successful in recovery. I want to be a better mother. I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired of fighting over and over and over again. I don't have another relapse in me. I don't have another overdose. I'm not going to make it. I don't know about you guys, but if you really want it, then you will succeed. But you have to want it. It has to be your number one priority, because you guys are the most important to yourself. Because if you don't love yourself enough, it's not going to work. So you have to love yourself first, and then your kids, your higher power, of course. I struggle with that as well. I was raised in a church, and so much bad shit that happened to me was self-inflicted, and I was confused with who I called my God. And it can be as small as that chair right there, something greater than you. I know sitting in a cell is redundant and aggravating and mentally difficult. But if you can make the best out of the time that you are sitting there and self-reflect and build on your character and, you know, start making amends with yourself before you make amends with anybody else, you have to forgive yourself for anything that you've done. And then when you get out, hit the ground running, and hopefully you guys, you know, choose a program, and hopefully this is something that you want and you're not just wasting your time right now, because it doesn't get easier. The streets are not what they used to be. The drugs are not what they used to be. And it's either jails, institutions, or death. And that's what it is. So if you're like me and you really want to get sober, put yourself first, because you are the most important person. So with that, I'll end this conversation, but I just want to say that if you have kids and you've ever done anything like I have, forgive yourself for that too. Then your parenting can start to heal and you can move forward and make verbal amends with those children so they understand that you know that you're aware of what you may or may not have put them through. And I get it. Active addiction is life-changing, and people who have never been through it will never understand. So with that, I'll pass.
Thank you. Thank you, Lauren.
That was awesome.
The message. Don't give up. Never give up. Don't give up. Never give up. You know? I went to jail 7 times, and I constantly, you know what I'm saying? Told myself that, you know what I mean? Hey, our main speaker. This is my guy. Come on up, David. Hey, David, talk as long as you want to, and Greg will give you the signal when you got 5 minutes left. Yeah.
I'm Dave. I'm an addict.
Hey, Dave.
I haven't found it necessary to use since December 9th of last year. I've had some clean time, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But I asked Steve, I said, I don't know what to advocate for the fellowship that I go to, which is NA, or advocate for the place that I live at. I'm not going to name the name, but Shin. He said, well, just talk about your recovery. Talk about your recovery. And to me, recovery, and I finally know now that I can't use safely and I can't quit when I want to. I have to surrender to that fact every day. I'm on like the 3rd month of not smoking cigarettes since I was 11 years old. I've been chewing in nicotine pouches like Jolly Ranchers. I mean, but I'm not smoking. But, it's hard for me to do. But it's an addiction just like anything else. I couldn't fucking breathe. But anyway, recovery is first thought wrong, the distance between first thought wrong and next right idea. And I'll give you an example. I had to go to court the other day. I hate coming to this fucking place, but Steve bamboozles me to come, and I like it. It grounds me, keeps where I came from. But I went to court the other day, and this other guy was a civil matter, but it wasn't no big deal. And I'm all cocked and locked, ready to go. And he finished, and I said, "Can I say something, Your Honor?" He said, "Well, do you really want to?" And I was like, "No, I'm okay." That's my first thought was, I was already to say something, but I know when to shut my friggin' mouth now. It took a while to do that because my mouth will get me in trouble every time, But, I came here this evening and I said, Steve asked me to speak. And, I went to jail. I got arrested when I was 54 years old. And at 54, 5 years later, 7 violations and getting locked up 9 times for the same thing because I couldn't piss clean. And positive is not a good thing with a PO. When he said, "You pissed positive," I said, "Yeah, He said, "No, that's not a good idea, man. Don't do that." So, but it took me. They hit me with the abscondence charge after I got my new leg. I got my leg cut off due to cocaine, my addiction. I'm not gonna get into that, but it's a direct result of my disease. And I remember that day. I just gotten out of jail. My PO called me like a week later, or a couple weeks later, and I make the appointment, the routine. And she says, "What are you doing?" It was on a Sunday, and I told the guy that was there in front of me, I said, "Man, shut up! It's my PO," because I seen District 32 on it. And she said, "What are you doing tomorrow?" I said, "I'm supposed to get my leg amputated." She said, "Really? I guess I got to take you off papers for the next 8 months." Man, she might as well just wave a checkered flag in front of my face, And, I put the phone down. He said, "Well, what did she say?" I said, "I ain't got to see that bitch for 8 months." She said, "Let's go." And my disease will take me to places. I mean, I've been under 100 pounds twice in my life, three times. The year before, I came in weighing 117 this time in December. Last year, I missed my clean date last year by 11 days, but I came in last year weighing 92. And I had one pack of oodles and noodles, like a fucking Christmas turkey, man. Don't touch that. I'm not starving yet. I hadn't eaten in 4 days, but I'm not, I'll drink water and eat crackers. I was saving that for a special occasion. That's fucked up. That's my disease talking to me. People today, they say, well, you look good. Well, I do look good when I come out of jail, come out of recovery house, man. I've gained a few pounds. When they tell me I look good, my disease says, yeah, we got one more round. And my disease will take me like that, But I don't listen to my disease today. I got people in my life that I can depend on that, through my recovery. I believe in the 12 steps. I'm a member of Narcotics Anonymous. And like I said, I was introduced to Narcotics Anonymous in 1993. I picked up one white key tag and I went back out February 6th of 2012. The reason why I know that is because my wife died February 5th after 28 years of marriage. I was so pissed off at my God that I've been praying to for 20 years to keep me clean. He did. I think, that I thought he took something that belonged to me. And it took a long time. It took a lot, jail time, like I said, 9 times, and 7 violations, 9 times in 5 years. I only came out for vacation sometimes. And it took to realize that, he didn't take nothing that belonged to me. She was a gift. I was 21, she was 35. We stayed married for 28 years. That's a fucking gift, man, because I wouldn't put up with more shit than if somebody did as much stuff as I did to that woman. I'm not talking about physically abusing her, but mentally, drinking, drugging. I'm not much of a drinker, but drugging, screwing around with other women, getting caught, going to court. That was a big shit show. And she still took me back. I didn't mess around with her the last 7 years she was living. And but anyway, I went up for the past 12 years. I got a little over 7 months now. Well, almost 7 months. The 9th will be 7 months. And I've a sponsor. I've had for like 3 years, and I talked to him last night. I say, he's telling me all about the house he's renovating and everything. I said, well, I'll see it after my first step. He said, you'll never see it. I said, you can come give me some faith, man. I will, because I got to do something different this time. I get involved, and like I said, Narcotics Anonymous is having their convention. The hospitality committee, Richmond area is having their convention in November. New Dominion area is having their convention in January. I'm involved in both hospitality committees. I start my day like today. I prayed when I got up. I went to go see my psychiatrist, or therapist rather, and I went back, went to the church for a couple hours, and then knowing that I'm coming here at 4 o'clock, or had to be back at the church at 4 o'clock, I left like at 2:30 and came back up here. And then after I leave here, I'll go to another meeting, and then I'll go home and go to bed. I have to do something for my recovery every day. If I don't, I go to a meeting almost every day. If you want what you had, if I wanted what I had before I got here, what am I still doing coming back? If I don't, I got to do something different this time. My sponsor this last time, I said, I've had him for 3 years. The first year he said, don't use. Second year, he said, don't use and stay out of jail. No, stay out of jail, don't use. The third year, he's like, you could call me every day. You could do something different. I said, yeah. And I still call him. He's getting ready to get married. And the past couple of times I called him, I know he's working on his house and everything, but I'll leave a message saying, this is David, I'm just checking in. I called him yesterday. My nephew, like I said, I disconnected my whole family except for my sister. I'm 61. I've never been clean at 61, and my sister's 70-something years old. My other brother's 71, and my oldest brother's 81. My oldest brother's son, his son, which is my great nephew, I guess 18 years old, man. They found him dead Sunday morning of a fentanyl oxycodone overdose, pressed pills. This disease, I can tell you right now that, and a friend of mine's always said, our drug supply is contaminated. It's not what it used to be. I mean, I've done it, like I said, since the 70s, 80s. And, you know, the stuff I have more of a chance of dying of a coke overdose today than I did ever. You know, and if you know, I'm just not willing. I mean, I was talking to somebody the other day. I said, it's just like a fucking revolver. It's got 5 bullets in it. I started using when I was 11. I got clean for almost 20 years. And then 10 more years of that. Well, I'm already back to the fucking last chamber and the hammer's cocked. I got one more relapse in me. I know I do. I know the way I use, and that's to be the last time. And I don't know what I'm getting. You know, it's just, you know, I got in a recovery house. I got my leg cut off, and I can't make shit like this up. This is my best thinking. You know, sorry. I got in a recovery house, and I was supposed to go. It was in the middle of COVID and shit, and I was supposed to go to court that day. I called the lawyer up. He had already had me for 2 dirty urines. He had a letter from the place I was at. You know, they're gonna work with me. Blah blah blah. Well, I had pissed dirty Thursday and Friday before Monday, and I called the lawyer Monday. I was like, you know, what do you want me to do? You want me to get checked? I said, I was with a girl the other day. She had COVID. She didn't tell me. It's just a bunch of shit. He said, get checked out. No, don't come to court. So I get my new leg on a Monday. I hadn't walked in fucking a year and a half. And so I called him up when I got home, and his secretary said, well, he's not going to be back until Friday. So I called him Friday. He says, I said, when's our next court date? Like, he said, we don't have one. They got a warrant for your arrest. Best thing to do is turn yourself in. And I said, last time I heard that judge say, David, you know, your welcome mat is wearing thin. You know, after 8 times, you know, we're tired of messing with you. And I'm looking at 3 years. And so I ran away. Believe it or not, I ran away and got my new leg and hauled ass. 4 months later, I turned myself in. I just shit like you can't make it. That's my best thinking, you know. But my leg was so fucking sore when I turned myself in. I was holding it in a wheelchair in the courtroom, you know. He's like, because I'm thinking 3 years, man, you know, all that good time you had, the time I did on the installment plan, that's all going out the window, you know. But that judge told me, he said 9 months. And I was like, man, I can do that. I mean, I was feeling like the trustee form before I even got to the fucking pod upstairs, man. You know, and like I said, shit like that. And then I didn't know what abscondence meant. You know, it means leaving jurisdiction, you know, to avoid prosecution. You know, shit like that. I got to realize that I can't. My best thinking got me here, and if I listen to my disease, it will get me back out. Because I've done it umpteen times. You know, I cannot use a drug safely. I cannot smoke pot on this side of my lungs and expect crack to be on this side because I got 2 lungs. You know, it doesn't work like that. You know, it does not work like that. Anything that's going to make my mind fucked up more than what it already is, I'll be back out there. And I know how I run, even with 2 legs or one and a half leg. You know, I'm not going back out. I'm dead serious because, you know, when you get down to 92 pounds, you know, your immune system shuts down. You have nothing to live for. And it's like, you know, I can say, well, I'm blind. I got 1 leg. I don't fuck this, fuck that. I can die with a fucking syringe in my arm. You know, I hadn't huffed, puffed, shot, snorted, or drank anything in 7 months. And that's a fucking miracle, man, because I had a year in 93. I haven't had a year since then. I was 10 months twice. But, you know, I'm in recovery. I have a disease that tells me I don't have a disease, but it'll come at me like in your voice and his voice and you know, any voice I want to listen to. If I stray away, I mean, if I listen, I just, you know, I didn't want to go to jail anymore. And I'm selling my trailer that I have in the East End now. I've held on to it for 10 years. And my sister says, well, I sure am glad you got it in your mind to sell it because every time you go back, you go to jail. And I was like, damn, I didn't think about that. You know, it's like that. You know, I'm 61 years old. I've never been clean at 61. I got clean when I was 29 and went back out when I was 49. You know, and like I said, by the grace of God, I'm still living today because the drugs have changed since then. You know, they're not the same. You don't know what you get. Just like my nephew, son. You know, I'm going to. I go to a funeral and viewing and all that shit. And I haven't seen my brothers in about 8 years. You know, my sister, all my nieces and shit. I hadn't seen them. You know, one of my nieces, I remember her sending a basket when my leg got cut off, and I hadn't, you know, my sister had gotten a thank you card, envelope, already addressed and everything, and I didn't have time to fill it out. I couldn't even put a thank you letter in the mailbox. You know, my disease is self-centered. You know, it's just my world gets real small real quick. Now I come in here, and the same people upstairs, they call me Wawa because I used to run around like a little chihuahua, and so the same people upstairs, you know, and I adjust to that type of life. Chicken Day is a big day, man. I got 6 days to wait for Chicken Day. You know, somebody knows what I'm talking about because that's all you got to look forward to is Chicken Day. You know, I can have chicken any fucking day of the week now. You know, yeah, I choose not to want it. I choose not to have it. But I mean, recovery to me, like I said, is a different way of life. And if you want what you had in the street and you think you're not gonna get caught, I mean, like I said, I went to jail 9 times in 5 years. My fucking IDs, I can look real old going this way and real young going this way. I flip them. I still carry the last one I had. I still carry it in my wallet today. Because if I get to thinking, like a couple of weeks ago, I see this guy in front of me. He's got a 6-pack and got his cigarettes. He says, piece of glass too. He got it on. He said, what'd you say? He said, piece of glass. I said, you want your fucking stem, man? Get him out of here. So he did that. And I thought about that. And I was like, man, if I don't share this shit, so I shared it with another, because it's a whole lot better if I'm thinking about getting high to share it with somebody else on the outside than it is sitting in a fucking jail or crack house thinking about getting clean, you know? And I got to look at that because I've done it both ways too. I'll swear I'll never do it again, God. Just get me out of this. And I ain't fucking from here to the airport, you know? And I don't have to live like that today, you know? And I have to surrender. They got me, okay, I'm in the handicap room, the only handicap house they got. And the other day they said, my 6 months is up. That I'm going to have to move somewhere. I was like, move where? I said, on handicap. I said, I didn't know there was a cap on a handicap room. And she said, yeah, it is. So I said, well, can I stay in the same house I'm at? You just move upstairs. And she said, well, if that's what you want to do, we'll do that. I said, okay, we'll do that. And I went up there, and I was can't, because the steps go this way, and then there's a landing, and then they go that way. There's 12 steps in the fucking staircase. Man, what the fuck? I mean, and I know that, so I'm on the first step. I was like, if I don't work any more steps, I'm not going to get upstairs. You know, if I stay on the third one, I won't get up. If I stay on the fifth one, but it's 7 going one and 5 going the next. You know, and I was like, well, maybe this is not a coincidence that I'm going up fucking stairs. You know, so I just, you know, my anger takes me out. I don't, you know, I can identify things when I get stuck in school, like this funeral shit. You know, I'm going to have to go visit my wife's grave that day and put flowers on it that I hadn't done in years. You know, we got the tear burial, which is like one on top of one another. And I was like, man, that's an eternity. It's a long time to be on top of somebody. You know, we couldn't get together for fucking 2 days sometimes. We wouldn't get along. But that's, you know, I'm living in the dash and the headstone. I got my name, her name, my name, and then my name got a dash and wherever I'm looking. But I'm not in a hurry to get my expiration date. You know, I don't know what God's got planned for me, but you know, it's not my plan. So with that, I pass. I'm glad y'all came.
I like what Lauren said, you know, earlier. And let's give everybody a hand. Everybody that spoke. Let's give them a hand. Yeah. You know, after I kind of got my feet up under me and you know, I started doing things, man, that helped me live, you know, and I look back on the situation and I said, man, I wonder if I had known what I know now, would I still got involved in that drug shit? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you, man, that's the most powerful shit I ever ran into. Drugs and alcohol, some powerful shit, man. Thing about it is, you got to have a powerful program. Got to have a powerful program to deal with a powerful disease. If you don't, just like she said, you wasting your time. Because when I look at that shit, man, I was like, man, Bobby Knight, the old basketball coach back in the day, was saying, they asked him a question one time during the interview. Said, if there's anything you can change in this country, what would it be? He said, I'll stop the drugs from coming into this country because I done seen some 18-year-old kids get demolished from the use of drugs, you know? And I was like, wow, when he said that, you know, and then just, man, from shit that I have researched, come on, man. I mean, they got some shit, fentanyl. Now, what they got this co-fentanyl and some other shit in there? You know what I'm saying? I mean, this shit bringing down elephants. You know what I'm saying? And we putting that shit in our body, you know, trying to escape or whatever the fuck we trying to do. You know what I'm saying? And a whole lot of us don't even know why the hell we doing it, you know? Man, because you got to rise above certain situations. You got to rise above it. You know what I'm saying? You stay in it, man, that shit is hard. You know what I mean? But anyway, thank y'all for being here, man. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope y'all heard something, and I hope y'all come back, you know? With that, everybody give yourself a shout out. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Steve.